How did you feel about everything that happened through that match?
It was crazy. I mean, honestly, coming out, I hadn't had any reps on the court, and it played a lot different than the outside courts, a lot slower and bouncier. So the first set, even though I won the first set, it was probably my least comfortable set. And then really felt like I adjusted into it and played a lot better. The level picked up throughout the match, each set, I feel like. So it was definitely a crazy match, one of my crazier matches I've ever been a part of. So it was a lot of fun.
You're obviously doing really well. I watched you in Adelaide, and now here I'm just curious, what do you feel that you're doing better?
I don't know. I mean, I think I'm serving a lot better. Just picking up on what points in the match are real important. I mean, that's probably the biggest thing. And keeping a level head throughout the whole match, that's another big thing for me.
How tired were you as it got deep in that fifth set?
I was tired. I was tired for sure. I thought in the fourth set, I thought like my hamstrings are gonna go. So I was trying to do everything I could to save a little energy, like make the ball boy walk a little bit more to get the towel or anything, you know. And I obviously started going for my shots a lot more. I don't know if you picked up on that, but I was hitting really like big balls throughout the fourth and fifth set, and he moved so well and made me hit a lot of extra balls. So, I mean, it was frustrating, but at the same time, I was hitting the balls pretty clean. So I had to hit really, 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 really big and put them in the corners to hit winners. So, and I felt like I did that later in the match.
You both are like super fast guys out there. I'm just curious if it was like fun for you, kind of going strength to strength on that, because at least there was a lot of like long, like spectacular rallies.
No, definitely. Like I said earlier in the match, it wasn't really like that. I feel like both of us were kind of spraying a little bit early in the match, and then as the match picked up, definitely, we both kind of showed our athleticism a lot today. I mean, I think him more than me. I mean, he was really getting to a lot of balls that I don't normally see come back. So. It was cool playing with him. I never played a match against him. I practiced with him before. I was most impressed with his returns. He put almost all the returns in the court, made me play long service games, which was kind of frustrating, especially when I was feeling the legs like that. You are kind of searching for short service games and make him feel the pressure on his service games, but he did a good job turning it around on me.
Did you find that, you mentioned practicing with him, was that helpful at all going into the match today, having had any time on the court?
I said practice, but it was more, we were just warming up for a match, actually. So, not really, but, I mean, I've obviously watched him play a lot more than he's watched me play. So I kind of knew what to expect, game style-wise, and obviously I talked to my coach a lot about how I'm going to play him and what I think I need to do in the match.
Were you, did you reference the Mackey McDonald match at all in your mind, or know about that? And also, I could ask, what was the impact of winning the Tiburon Challenger to actually win a title there? Was that important to you recently?
So I haven't talked to, I had dinner with Mackie last night actually, but we weren't talking about the match at all. I didn't even watch that or anything. I like watching a lot of film of people I'm going to play the night before I play them. And that wasn't one that I came to. I remember a little bit of that match. I didn't watch too much of it last year, but not really. I didn't really think about that match too much. But Tiburon was a big tournament for me, I think, because it was my first tournament that I played when I was in the top 100, and it's obviously different showing up to a tournament as a top 100 player than it is showing up at like 180. So for me to come out and win that tournament was kind of big for me. That was a tournament that I didn't play well throughout the whole tournament, but I was just finding ways to win. So yeah, it was a good tournament for me.
At 5'4", 30 love, he was there. At that point, are you just thinking, well, just go for it, or what are you kind of feeling out there?
It's pretty funny actually, because throughout the match, I felt like he won his first 2 or 3 points in his service games most of the time. And I felt like after that I had a pretty I could pick up on his service patterns a little bit. So I wasn't like, I didn't really feel like I was out of the match because I know I could lean on certain directions on some of the serves and get back in that service game. But once I was in the point, I don't know if you remember the point, I kind of just like slapped a big forehand cross. And it kind of like gave me a little push. And then after I ended up actually breaking that game, that was kind of the biggest push in the match. I mean, I felt from dead to, I felt like I had energy. So that was good.
To me, just could you talk just a little about the work you do, right now with Brad, the new coach, to be better on the court but also off the court. What could you tell about that?
I mean, we practice a lot. I mean,
You get the impression that it changed you a little bit, like a person too, not only on the court.
yeah. I mean, I've always been like a guy who like spends a lot of time on court. And he said like it's like obviously about the quality of the practice, not the quantity, and making sure I get all the stuff in the gym I need to get done and spend time with the trainers. I mean, it's just like I approached it a little different this like past off season. I actually didn't really practice very much in the preseason, not because of like choice, but it rained all the time. So it wasn't even like Florida rain. Like it rained like all day long in December. Like it felt like the whole month was like a bunch of rain. So I actually feel like I played a lot more basketball than tennis, like if I'm being honest. But yeah, I mean when we did get court time, we always had good sessions and never really wasted a practice.
When did you connect with Brad and start working with him?
Officially, I think it was after the U.S. Open last year. But we didn't go to a tournament together actually until Tibron, my man back there. That was our first tournament together. But before that, in where was it? Other challengers, whatever. He was like sending me texts about matches and stuff. But we got the preseason work in, and that was when we really started doing practice work. He was coming to tournaments, but.
Obviously, everyone has their own path after juniors. I'm curious for you, you've had a lot of success in juniors. I'm curious, how do you describe your journey to where you are right now? What is the biggest thing you learned, or how do you view that arc for you?
The path is very different for everyone. Obviously, a lot of people, it's the right decision to go to school, and then some people can turn pro right away. I think my level wasn't there to turn pro right away when I was in juniors. Like I played well against juniors, but like it wasn't. I don't think it was my level, but it was more like where my head was at. I wasn't like prepared to travel the world and play pro tournaments against guys that like kind of devote their life to it. That's another step that I think I've taken in the past 2 years. But I don't know. I mean, it was the first couple of years. The first year was not so good. And then injuries kind of sprinkled in there, and that didn't make it fun either. But it's different for everyone.
Is Rod Laver Arena the biggest court you've ever played on? And what was your self-talk when you...
I've never been on Rod Laver
okay.
in my life. But Margaret Court, I played on Margaret Court in qualies like 2 or 3 years ago against Tomic. I played in there. It rained one day and we got moved in there. So I had a little bit of experience on the court. I knew that it was going to be a little bit bouncier and grittier than outside. Outside courts are lightning fast. So I knew what to expect a little bit.
Grigor has really struggled when he's gotten down 2 sets. Do you have any idea of that, or his record also?
No, I didn't even know that at all, but he almost got it.
What is the difficulty of being a guy who's up 2-love, and now all of a sudden you're in the crucible of a fifth, having given away that lead?
Sorry, you said what's the hard part about it? What's the difficulty?
Being a guy who seems to have the match. I mean, it's not over till it's over, but you got a 2-set-to-love lead.
Yeah.
In good shape. Now all of a sudden you're in a fifth set.
Yeah, I mean, the third set kind of felt like it went kind of quick. I felt like I don't know. I didn't put too much emphasis on the third set when I was in the third set when I wish I should have, because I knew that I was kind of struggling physically, and my coach told me like third set and 5-setters is like always the most important one. And I ended up losing that one the quickest. But then the fourth set, kind of back and forth with little breaks, and then I got into the fifth set and I got up a break early, and I was pretty tired, so I knew I needed to hold the break, and then lost it right away. And then I don't know, it's frustrating, obviously, when you're up 2 sets to love and then he gets the next 2, but it happens all the time, you know. That's what I was telling myself. I never played like 5-setter up 2 sets to love, but just telling myself like it happens all the time, you know. You see it all the time. I saw that Sangren. I looked up and I literally saw that Sangren won his first 2 sets and lost the next 2, and then won. So I was like, all right, like I guess it can be done.
Were you paying attention to his score at all? Because you were in kind of parallel matches, both playing against guys who made U.S. Open semifinals last year, both the unseeded Americans. I mean, I don't know, do you see that match and see him winning and be like, well, I should win too then?
I wasn't following it, but then, I don't know, I guess the timing just worked out to where I looked up one time and it was like it showed the score right then, and it was like 6-5 or match point or something, and I saw that he won the point, and then didn't think about it again until I got to the locker room and I saw him. We both like gave each other big come-ons, but it was cool. I mean, like, cool that we had similar score lines, and he got the W too.
At what point was that in your match when you looked up?
I think I was actually down a break in the 5th.
I don't know.
I think so. I'm not 100% though.
I mean, obviously you see online, like, Nick has been tweeting you all the time and stuff. I know you guys are friends and you're friends with others as well.
Yeah.
How much does that friendship or kind of support make a difference for you?
Like tennis-wise?
No, just like, obviously on tour, it's a very individual sport.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of you who are kind of always tweeting each other and supporting each
Mm.
other and stuff. So how big of a factor is that in making, I guess, the tour less lonely or less harsh or less?
Yeah, I mean that's a thing. Like tennis, the tour can be lonely, but for me, there's a lot of guys that I'm really close with. Nick's like probably the most active of my friends on social media.
He's not really your best friend, but on social he is.
No, I mean we're close. We're good friends. But like I mean, I have a bunch of good friends. Like all the Americans I'm close with. I love like all the Aussies too. Yeah, I mean it's nice having friends on tour. It's like you don't want to be the guy walking into the locker room and nobody likes, you know.
I was reading that you grew up playing on clay quite a lot.
Mhm.
It seems that maybe compared to some of the other American players, you have quite a well-rounded game. How important were those formative years on clay for developing all this?
Yeah, actually pretty important, I think. It got me comfortable with clay at a young age. The place that I grew up practicing at only had clay courts. It was all 4 outdoor clay, and then it had like 3 indoor clay, which you don't see like ever. So they weren't the best courts ever, but I don't know, I just got comfortable on the surface when I was young, so I mean that definitely helps. And then all my tournaments were on hard. Even when I was playing on hard in juniors, I would prep for the tournament on clay, so like we didn't have any hard courts. So it was kind of like, yeah, I mean I feel like it helped me get an all-court game.